So having started at the beginning of December, we are through to the very final week of the Biathlon World Cup season, and Khanty-Mansijsk in Siberia hosting it as it has done for the last 5 or 6 years, and brilliant conditions after the mild temperatures of Sochi, where they were racing on porridge as opposed to snow. Here this morning, minus 23, bitterly cold, and we're back to deepest, darkest winter.
It's quite incredible. Getting on the flight in Sochi, it was plus 10 degrees. They landed here at minus 21. It was on Monday evening, and with a hideous wind chill factor as well, making it feel about minus 35. So almost a 40-degree shift in temperatures. But well, dedicated fans to stand out in these temperatures.
Well, the Russians like their biathlon, and luckily for them, this is a resort that the Russians generally do very well, partly inspired by the fact that it's home pressure, but there's also something to do with the end of the season. They seem to survive it slightly better than others, having been generally very bad at the beginning of the season.
We have seen that traditionally, and of course the main heart of the Russian women's team, remember, took the week off from Oslo racing to prepare in Sochi, so rested for 3 of those intense races in Oslo, if you like.
So today's programme is, of course, the women's sprint. 85 starters lined up for today. We've already had 7 winners from the 9 sprints so far this year. Tora Berger and Miriam Gusner are the only 2 to have won twice over this shorter distance. 7.5 kilometres, 2 shoots as always, and generally you need to shoot at least 9 out of 10 to stand a chance, although the last 4 sprints have all been won by the perfect shooting score of 10 out of 10. Will it be the same today? We'll have to wait and see. The race coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. Well, there you see the temperatures slightly warmer than it was first thing this morning, minus 10 degrees. I always feel that the thermometers work a little differently here in Chanty-Mansijsk. It feels bitterly cold, but it's a dry cold, which is very pleasant to breathe, but the snow conditions totally different here to anywhere else on the planet.
It has to be said, the technicians always struggle on this course, and they can't bring the big trucks that we see around the rest of Europe. The track profile, Patrick, certainly compared to last weekend or last week in Sochi, I would say much easier, but this long climb, this is one of the steeper climbs comparable to Sochi, but not as long, but then flat for, what, 300 meters into the shooting range.
Okay, the hills may not be quite as steep and long as Sochi, but the approach into the range here doesn't allow the recovery that Sochi did last week. And that surely is going to make all the difference. Someone like Miriam Gusner, I'd be amazed if she managed to shoot well today, because she's bound to have a high pulse, because she won't be able to control herself on that final climb.
I think you're right on the money with that one. But she did say, she said she's tired, she knows that everyone else is tired, she's missing home, but she really wants to end the season on a high. And Tora Berger, Patrick, getting bib number 1, 32 in Group 1 is the group to go in, but it's just purely a random draw that she was awarded bib 1.
So the world number 1 wearing bib number 1, and the Crystal Globe has gone in the sprint, the Crystal Globe has gone in the overall, both going to Tora Berger, of course. What's at stake today is Tora Berger could equal Forsberg's time, Magdalena Forsberg's achievement of 19 podium finishes in one season. She's got 3 races. She only needs 1 more to equal it, 2 obviously to go into the record books as the out-and-out winner.
Do you know, that was what, 2001, I think, when Magdalena set that record, and I remember then thinking nobody will ever be able to achieve that again, and she's sitting on the edge of achieving it.
And I think she did it from 24, 25 races. This year we have 26, if my memory serves me right. There is Tora Berger in red and yellow, as she has been all the way through the season. And worth mentioning, Mike, that wearing the yellow or the red bib gives you a little bit of a financial bonus. So she's not doing too badly after this season.
What will it be, a car, a house?
Well,
maybe another dog to keep Tarzan company.
Yeah, she's doing very well, but she deserves to, with the success she's had this year. And you only have to compare it to some of the big sports, and she's getting in a season what they can earn in a couple of days. So it's all relative, but Tora Berger certainly a popular athlete with the sponsors. Number 4, that of course Olga Vilikina, the first of the Russians to get underway today. Zaitseva, Glazarina, Orlova also going early for Russia.
Oh, there's Henkel just warming up. She's had a great season. She hasn't taken any of the wins, but ranked 3rd and leading into this final championships, or the final World Cup. Tora Berger, she was asked on her motivation, and she said, yes, I've had an unbelievable season. And she was saying, I think that I can relax, you know, there's only one World Cup left. But then she was told she could maybe equal Forsberg's season. So she said, well, I did feel like relaxing a little bit and giving less of an effort. But of course, now hearing these records, I'll have to try and win again. So she's very relaxed. She was hoping to make this final one a bit of a sort of taper down, if you like, but I'm sure we'll see her going for another victory, certainly another podium.
Just looking to see when she was last off the podium, and it was astonishing. The 17th of January, when they raced in Antolz, was the last time she failed to finish in the top 3. That's some record. So from race number 14 all the way through to 23, so she's had 10 in succession in the top 3. That's got to be a record in itself, and here she is. She starts, she'll set the pace. Generally hits 9 out of 10. She has hit all 10 on 2 occasions out of the 9 sprints so far this season. And I think she might have to do the same again to win today. Does the course suit her? Well, we'll find out very, very shortly. Mike, we've already mentioned that the snow conditions here are different, but they're also very slow. It's like skiing on talcum powder. That surely suits those who start late on in Group 1, would you think? I
would have thought so, but of course, remember, of course, local time here, we're 6:15 in the evening, and it's going to get colder, I think, Patrick, because as you said, it was -21 earlier today. I don't know, I think she's probably in the best group with the 32 of the athletes opting for group number 1. Mäkäräinen chasing Berger. Will it lift her performance? Probably will on the ski track. But she hasn't been shooting well this season.
5th in the rankings, Mäkäräinen. Here comes the newcomer in the German team, Laura Dahlmeier. What an opening she's had to her career. 2 sprints. She has shot clear on both occasions. Can she make it 3 out of 3 today? She's looked very confident. She doesn't have the ski speed. I don't think even she's got the ski speed to win, even if she hits 10 out of 10. But she's young. She's doing brilliantly at junior level. And same category, same sort of class as someone like Neuner, do you think?
She's more calm, I think. It's certainly on the her shooting statistics. And she was asked when, of course, she was part of the relay winning team on Sunday. She said, well, why don't you feel the pressure? She said, you know, I don't look left, I don't look right, I just do what I like doing. And that's a lovely attitude, I think, from Dahlmeier.
Well, we'll see how long she can keep that. Once she starts to win and there's a certain amount of expectation on her shoulders, it becomes a very different story indeed. Olga Vilikina, 24-year-old Russian, going very fast. She finished 5th in the World Championship, so she'll certainly start today thinking that she's got a chance of getting on the podium. And as we watch Scardino starting, Mike, worth mentioning the Nations Cup standings: Norway on 7,261. Germany in second, 7,125, so 136 points behind, and Russia 100 points or so behind Germany. Now, the Norwegians only have 5 racers skiing today. Tora Berger really has held them up and put them on the top of the Nations Cup standings. But if Russia have a fantastic day and they get 1, 2, 3 and 4, I think Norway could be in trouble.
Well, interesting, and we'll have to wait and see. And I know that from the Russian side, of course, Wolfgang Pichler, their coach, was absolutely slated last week in Sochi, and nobody was holding back on the press side saying what they think. And he just said, well, our girls are built strong. You know, the tracks in Sochi don't suit them. They're muscly, they're strong athletes. And that's what Wolfgang was saying, and he's got a point. But well, you need to be able to cope with these steep hills if you're a biathlete. Yeah,
well, that's a fair point from Wolfgang. But he was employed purely to bring them gold medals at the Olympic Games. And if he doesn't feel the athletes he's got at the moment aren't suitable, why not go elsewhere and find some lightweight skiers who can cope with the hills? Don't tell me Russia haven't got them.
Well, that's it. If you're a biathlete, your job is to ski uphill. Mäkäräinen 10.5 ahead of Berger.
Well, she is flying. We'll see how she takes the approach into the range. Remember, it's a big, long climb. It really is a killer hill up into the stadium area. Selina Gasparin, well protected from the -10 degrees here in Sochi. The face tape, a regular here in Khanty-Mansijsk because of the cold temperatures. Everyone's used to it. Tora Berger generally doesn't wear gloves at these temperatures, but today she's well wrapped up. Delmar looking smooth now. How do you think her time is going to compare to Mäkäräinen? She will not match the Finn.
You would expect that she'll be down around Berger's time, say 10 seconds. In fact, she's going to be more, 17 seconds. That's almost a penalty loop lost within less than a kilometre. Mäkäräinen is absolutely flying.
Long way to go, and a lot of those racing in Sochi were caught out, I think, by the loop, pushing too hard on the first loop. Even Tora Berger admitted she skied too hard on the first loop. And we did see Daria Domracheva for one, and in the men's race, Martin Fourcade, a very conservative first lap in Sochi. Is the same approach needed here?
Yeah, I believe so, and the fact, Patrick, as well, is the 8th World Cup. It's the 26th race of the season, and they're all tired. The journey, in fact, from Sochi wears them out. It was a full 20-odd hours, and I think that's why Domracheva paced it so well in Sochi. Take it easy the first lap, harder the middle lap, full pace on the last lap.
And full pace on the last lap can gain you some 30 seconds in races like this, and it's not so much on the climb itself. The key area is when you go over the top of the hill and then you have a flat or a gradual uphill. That's where the time and the distance can be made up.
So much so, and all the coaches know that, the athletes from a young age know that, but when the body is saying, listen, I'm really tired, you tend to back off from that final little bit of work, most important piece of work over the top. Mäkäräinen is skiing the race of her life so far, but, well, maybe too much too soon.
Well, she's got to shoot well, and I don't think on any occasion Mäkäräinen has shot clear in the sprints this year. Just having a look down the list, and no, she hasn't won a sprint and she hasn't shot clear in a sprint, so I still think that she's going to have to do that. Kristina Palka, the Poles are on very good form, of course, with Guisdon getting a win, Palka getting a silver medal at the World Championships earlier on in the season. It's been a sort of coming of age for the Polish team this year.
And you know, I think we have to look to next year as well. They're just building their confidence this year, but you just feel that the Polish team is going to be